Hey traders, checking into the stock market today. We started the week with a lot of strength and FOMO in some of our high risk, high reward names, which we will look at. And then by the second half of the day, the broader market had pulled back notably, giving us some indications that we need to be cautious of temporary tops. I'll show you what I mean. So let's start with the FOMO first. So first thing this morning, we had high risk, high reward names like the cannabis sector. You could see CGC closed extremely strong. It was up 20% today. TLRY in Canadian cannabis, little cup and handle on the 4-hour time frame. And we have some psychedelic names. CMPS had some follow through to start. ATAI was up over 10%. You can see those names gave back their gains, unlike CGC. I put out a video over the weekend specific to those names in those sectors, so check that out if you're interested. And another note, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, going to do a public live stream on this channel, showing you pre-market prep and how we cover the morning live stream. So that was where there was strength, and also the Reddit names. AMC started with a lot of strength, GME, BBBY. So first thing, FOMO. We then topped out in most places. Again, it's really specific to CGC and Canadian cannabis as a whole, where we didn't top out and give all the gains back, but in most other places we did. And it was on the back of broader market weakness. So one thing that I'm keeping an open mind with is oftentimes we see dash to trash at the top of a bull move, where it's the weakest names, the ones that haven't run, they push up last, and then we see a temporary top. And those familiar with the cryptocurrency space, we've definitely seen that in the past, where, for example, Litecoin, we'll have bulls in control, and then Litecoin gets a pump, and then everything pulls back. So the question is this going to lead to everything pulling back? We got CPI numbers on Wednesday. I do believe the market is pricing in lower numbers coming, as commodities have been telling us is the more likely scenario. S&P 500 futures chart. So we set a little daily higher low and hit a higher high right into consolidation. Higher high today, right into a pullback. So we know bull breaks that lack follow through have us watch for rising wedges. And this is a 4-hour rising wedge. So we're bouncing off of support at the moment. And we'll see tomorrow if we're green, we're going to remain right within this pattern most likely. And if we're red tomorrow, we will be breaking this bearish. And again, what I'm looking for bigger picture is weekly consolidation. What signs are showing me that weekly consolidation is shaping up? And today, for the first time in weeks, we saw all major sectors hitting the low of the day at the same time. So in my mind, that flashes, heads up, red flag. And so I went from being aggressive bullish this morning first thing with all this strength and playing the Canadian MJ breakout and even adding a little bit MSOS, looking for it to be a laggard for its weekly trend change attempt. And then as soon as all major sectors hit new lows, I instantly started exiting some long positions to go risk off. That's enough for me to initially go risk off when all major sectors hit the low of the day at the same time, when it's been so long since that has happened. So in the end, the bears do still have to prove follow through. I'm looking at SPY right now, and SPY has not confirmed an hourly downtrend. And again, confirming the hourly downtrend with a lower high and lower low, that has not happened in 9 days. So I have to see that happen, which means tomorrow I have to see an hourly lower high and a break of the low of today for bears to follow through from today. And if we don't break the low of today tomorrow, then we certainly know the bulls are keeping their control, and we'll then be keeping our eye on that potential S&P 500 rising wedge. The Nasdaq, same deal with the bull break lacking follow through. 4-hour support did hold. So trying to bounce, holding that 4-hour higher low. It could also be a 4-hour head and shoulders. So depending on how we're opening tomorrow, big old left shoulder, the head was a higher high. So then if we bounce and fail the high of yesterday and then break the low today, that would be a head and shoulders as well. So I'm still not convinced from the bears, but I saw enough today to just take a little bit of risk off, grab a little bit of short exposure for protection in case we do start a pullback. And I'll look to be more aggressive bearish if we do see bear follow through and conviction. Semiconductors were weak today because NVDA did pretty much what Google and other names did, where they give a heads up that earnings aren't going to be good, and they changed their, I don't know if they changed their guidance. Whatever they did, it was bearish. So SMH daily consolidation underway. EMA 12 is still holding. So again, my guide is if EMA 12 is support, it's still a possible daily bull flag, which is still the case. And we did get to first hourly oversold conditions right around 30. And that did mark the low of the day. You can see NVDA was the reason for that weakness. Just free fall pre-market. Big bounce at the open. Look at the volatility on NVDA today. 5% bounce into a 5% pullback into a 3.5% bounce. Daily, still an uptrend, looking for a daily higher low, but because of the size of the pullback, weekly consolidation is underway. And this is similar to SPY, where we're watching for the potential of a weekly inverse head and shoulders. Anything above 140 is a higher low. Some of earnings is priced in for the bears. And we have to see a confirmed weekly trend change if this pattern is going to confirm bullish. And I'm watching for the same thing on SPY. We haven't topped out yet, but if we do pull back from here, I'm watching for the same inverse head and shoulders attempt. Tesla, big bear day on Friday. And we were talking last week about the bearish correlation that was starting to present itself on Tesla with the close at the low of the day, 3 out of 4 days. And I forget exactly what I said in the video, but something along the lines of, we're going to hold on just fine if the broader market holds on, but any weakness in the broader market, and Tesla bears are positioned to follow through more significantly, and certainly Friday, big drop. We broke the high of Friday today, but only by less than $2, so pretty much a double top. And a day, you can treat that, I can treat that as a daily inside bar. And if we break and lose daily EMA 12 support, we zoom out, and weekly consolidation will be underway. And there's a lot of space for a weekly higher low, as is the case for many names. So again, I'm watching for weekly consolidation, but then once we get it, in most places, I'm scouting weekly higher lows. Healthcare, still range bound, chopping around here sideways a bit. Weekly time frame, inside bar at the moment. So watching for the range of last week to break. I've got a mustache hair that is tickling in a big way. So inside bars on XLV, watching to see the direction that it breaks. Financial sector remaining a lead bull at least to start. Still the higher lows, which are our guide. So for me, 33.24 is now a key level. IWM, clear lead bull, following through over weekly resistance. Low of Friday, 187.17 is my new benchmark level here for the daily uptrend. Biotech sector still following through from wow strength. Watching for an hourly downtrend and bearish after hours because NVAX had real bad earnings. So XBI hourly lower high is set. If we break 91.92, that's a confirmed hourly downtrend, and daily consolidation will be underway. We will then look for first hourly oversold conditions as a back burner, and we'll look for a daily higher low to be the result of that pullback. But bears have to confirm the hourly downtrend. So we already went over the cannabis names. We got hourly guides, TLRY 414 must hold. And getting those weekly bounces or those monthly bounces going. Everybody else got them going. XBI got it going months ago. Then we saw psychedelic names get it going. One by one, monthly bounces underway. And cannabis is, I think, the last to do it. CGC, lower high every month for the last 8 months. And that pattern has now broken. And again, CGC clearly stronger today. After hours, bulls trying to keep that up. Hourly support here is 307. So certainly expecting volatility to continue in this sector. And bears need to be a bit patient, but we're going to watch for monthly lower highs eventually. It's just a question of when. Bulls are hoping that this is the start of a bottom being set for a fall voting season run-up, when I talked about that more in depth in the weekend video on our channel. The dollar is a daily inside bar. If we break the high of last week, our weekly higher low is set. So if I'm a bear in anything, commodities, stocks, crypto, I want to see 106.93 break on the dollar for the weekly higher low to convincingly be set and to maintain weekly EMA 12. For now, It's a weekly inside bar, obviously one trading day of action, but we're not following through yet. And with that lack of follow through for the bulls off of that weekly support, the metals are staying strong. So gold is up near its highs. For me, it's just EMA. If the gold and silver bulls can continue to hold EMA 12, the bounce is still underway. Because silver lost a daily support level, but here we are heading to higher highs. So lost the price level, but maintained EMA support. So nice follow through for silver. The miners are trying to act as laggards. GDX broke to the highest level that it's seen in the last month. Just about the last month. I entered some positions on Friday since we last talked. ATAI was one of them, that psychedelic name that went up, and NEM was the other one. Just a bottom fishing play. This is the weakest miner, but I like the very low risk because I saw 44 break for a bear flag confirming with zero follow through. And then Friday, once we double bottomed at 43.90, I made an entry. I forget where, maybe 44.30s. So very low risk, stops under that low, looking for a weekly bounce to play out. We looked good this morning, but we rejected from 45.88 resistance with a little triple top now. But just in a small bottom fish position looking for a weekly bounce. But bulls have a lot of proving to do here. Oil got a daily bounce going. Anything, for me, I'm calling anything under 101.88 a daily lower high. But this is a battle for monthly EMA 12 support. So real aggressive bulls are watching for a reversal here, knowing that we'll have to bounce and then change a daily trend. It's going to take a while. But keeping an eye out for that possibility. Energy sector also has a lot of work to do for the bulls to try and confirm a weekly uptrend. And a lot is going to depend on whether or not oil can hold monthly EMA 12, in my opinion. Natural gas. So here's an example where we had a stair-step pattern on the daily here towards the end, and then a stair-step drop. And so you see this big green candle and you say, well, that's our daily high or low. And if you say that, that's fine, but you have to zoom in for details because not all daily candles are created the same. For example, that daily candle could have been created with a 4-hour uptrend or not. And those are two different scenarios for me. They don't have the same weight as far as a daily candle. I trust the daily high or low more if it is formed with a 4-hour uptrend on crypto, futures, and commodities, hourly time frame on stocks because they trade less hours in the day. But we can zoom into the 4-hour time frame for natural gas and see, yeah, this was our falling wedge big bull break, but we didn't confirm a 4-hour trend change. We topped out, we failed resistance, and then we never formed a 4-hour higher low and higher high. So I trust levels less if it's not a trend change on a shorter term time frame to form it. And so that's a good example of that, where we'd never confirmed the 4-hour trend change, and here we are testing the lows. So we're scouting a weekly high or low. We're watching our retracement size. We're watching weekly EMA 12. The more we pull back, the more likely we're going to remain within this range at least all of August. But the bears have their short-term control still, and we're watching that weekly EMA 12. So overall, just in summary, can the bears put up another day with all major sectors hitting low at the same time? Bulls gave themselves cushion to work with because we started the morning really strong. The Nasdaq pulled back from the high of the day multiple percent, but in the end, it was only down 0.5% or whatever at the close because we started strong. So is the S&P 500 a 4-hour rising wedge? Do we get a sell the news scenario on a CPI lower number reading or not? I'm not going to be making any trades based off of that. It's just some speculation from last week that I'm going to be observing. And so what today did was shift me away from being aggressive bull and now keeping an eye out for, I do want bearish positions for swing trades for weekly consolidation. And so I'm watching for them to potentially shape up and watching for those clues. And I'll be watching for the biotech sector for potential daily consolidation and watching for CGC, potential bullish continuation if the broader market bulls are able to keep control. So I know where I'm going to be looking at bulls keep control, and I know where I'm going to be looking if we start to lose some control. And the Nasdaq did lead the way to the downside, QQQ divided by SPY with the red day, which is what bears want to see, but still an uptrend overall. So I'm a bit patient and cautious because it can easily go either way right now. And the bulls have had their nice gains over the last month. And we know weekly trend changes will be needed if we're going to talk about the bottom being set. I need multiple weeks of pullback and then continuation. And then we'll talk about the bottom being in. But we got a whole bunch of space for weekly higher lows in a lot of places. I hope you had a great weekend. Had a big old rainstorm here. I don't have much content, didn't do much filming, but I filmed the the crepe myrtle, and its branches drooped way down with the weight of the rain, and only one of them broke, fortunately, but it looks like all of them are about to break. Tree flexibility. Do good things.